What is up, everyone? My name is Jeffrey with Jealousy Image, and I want to thank you for tuning in. If you like any of this content, do me a favor and go and hit that like button at the bottom. If you really like it, hit that subscribe button. This channel is dedicated to help good-looking guys like yourself look even better and maybe even sharpen up some of those tools, so stay tuned. Today is 2 of the 3-part series where we will be focusing on grooming. Before we get started, I want to tell you that I won't be covering any kind of facial hair, well, no beard-related thing, because, well, I don't grow a beard. I can't grow a beard. I can grow a mustache, a little goatee, but not enough to really talk about it. I usually shave it off as soon as the stubbles come in. So with that being said, let's move into the first part of the grooming. Before we get started though, I want to point something out. Actually, no, I want you to picture something that's even better. So, hear me out. Going on a date. You're on a date. On a date, conversation's going terrific, getting ready to order, looking at the drink menu, your date happens to slide that menu across the table and you look down at their nails and yuck. Luckily for you, I'm here to help. The next things I am going to mention are very basic and they're very simple to follow. It's easy. Most of this stuff is available at your local grocery store or convenience store. Maybe not your convenience store, but most stores or drugstores. When it comes to nails and toenails, a good rule of thumb, no pun intended, maybe a little. I like to cut my nails and my toenails after I get out of the shower. They're a little bit softer, easier to cut. Once I notice the white parts of my nails, unless you're trying to grow your nails out, I usually don't because I don't like long nails. It's hard to open things, and when they break, it sucks. No! A very simple task, takes about 10 minutes depending on how slow you are at doing it or how much of a perfectionist you are. I don't want this to happen to you. I don't want you to be dismissed from a date or from a gathering just because it looks like you have dirty fingernails and you don't take care of yourself. Just take the time and do it. We'll save the embarrassment if you're shaking hands or if you're at the beach. No one wants that. You don't want to keep your feet buried in the sand when you're at the beach, right? Let those puppies breathe, but make sure they're presentable. Now that we get that out of the way, let's talk about that unsightly facial hair. I'm not talking about the beard, remember, because I don't have too much info on that. I'm talking about those nose hairs, ear hairs, and that unibrow. There are reflections, mirrors all over the place. You're not being conceited if you check in on yourself. And I'm not saying go ahead and stare for long periods of time. I'm saying check yourself. Make sure you don't have a booger hanging out. Make sure you don't got crap in your teeth. And before you leave the house especially, make sure everything's good to go. Make sure everything's lined up properly and you feel right about that. As far as the facial hair, nose hairs, ear hairs, they make trimmers out there that make it super simple to do. So for example, this one right here, this is a Norelco that I picked up, I believe at Walmart. It might have been TJ Maxx, I can't remember. But the point is, they sell them all over the place. They make it very simple. It beats plucking them, which really sucks. If you're doing that, props to you. But for the rest of us that don't like unnecessary pain, I'll go with the trimmers. Now you can use these trimmers for your nose or your ear hairs, but I do suggest either waxing or getting tweezers for that unibrow. It's hard to have a conversation with someone, from my perspective anyway, is if they have that unmaintained? If they're not doing anything with this, they need to do something, because that's my focus point. That takes the focus off of those beautiful eyes of yours. So trim this up, that way we can have an eye-to-eye contact conversation. That's a mouthful. Now I know this is all very generic information, but I feel that these are the base components that every man should know and stay up on. With that being said, let's jump into hygiene, because I don't think enough people talk about it and the importance of it. Because at the end of the day, when you stink, people aren't going to want to be around you as much. You're not someone I want to sit in a car ride for 4 hours with. And it's very simple, guys. Shower 1-2 times a day, if not every day. So that's the same thing, every day. The reason for this is all that dirt and oil that builds up on your body, whether you are working out or not. Daily tasks and daily activities are stacking that dirt and oil and that smell of your natural body. Rinsing that away or washing that away is going to help a natural freshness for yourself. Not even adding any cologne or not. There's another subject we will get into later down the road, but let's get into some smells as far as that goes. When looking for body soaps, body moisturizers, hygiene products in general, it's going to be a trial and error. Look for a good deodorant that doesn't bother you, doesn't irritate your skin, one that you like the smell of. Same thing with the bar soap. There are dozens of bar soaps that I've tried in the past, some that I liked, some that I didn't feel did anything, some were just a waste of time. But again, my skin's different than what yours is, so take your time, do your research. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break, so
after these messages, we'll be right back.
let's recap a little bit of what we've gone over. That's manicuring your fingernails and toenails, keeping up with that facial grooming as far as getting those nose hairs, ear hairs, and that unibrow taken care of. A little bit of hygiene, not too much, finding the right products for yourself. That leads us into smells. It's going to give you a brief overview of good smells that I would suggest for this time of year. Go for something that's a little more woodsier or almost like a smoky kind of smell. When you're spraying that cologne, there is a thing as too much. I'm spraying my cologne, I do a spritz in the front because that's the majority of where people are going to be at when you're speaking to them. Also, a little dab in the back on your wrist, and one for conversation on the chest. Make sure you just don't overdo it. That brings us to the end of the grooming session video. Next week, I will be talking about hair care. I'll go in depth about that as far as treatments, oils, my hair care routine, along with any other things. Check that out. And thank you for tuning in. My name is Jeffrey with JLC Image. Please go ahead and hit that like button if you liked any of this content. If you loved it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Join the family. Other than that, I will see you next week. Thanks.